Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so excited that you are part of our beautiful Reading with Your Kids family. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. Our guest today is our friend Lori Orlinsky. She's here to talk about her brand new book, The Tooth Fairies' Tummy Ache. And a little later on, I'm really excited to let you know that we're going to be replaying one of our favorite moments from 2019. Lori's daughter, Hayley Orlinsky, will be here to read Being Small Isn't So Bad After All with me. It was a really, really fun episode for me, and it inspired me to look into producing more and more Storytime podcast episodes, and we're looking to do that starting this spring, and I'm really excited about that. I am also very excited to let you know that The Tooth Fairies' Tummy Ache by Lori Olinsky is our latest Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. That's right. Our panel of teachers, parents, and kids love this book, gave it 5 big stars. It is a fantastic book. You can read our entire review on our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Congratulations to Lori Olinsky. The Tooth Fairies' Tummy Ache is our latest Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. All right, we are here at the Chicago Toy and Game Fair right before the masses come in. I'm really excited. We're here with Lori Olinsky, and she is going to tell us about her brand new book. Lori, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited for my second book.
Yeah, tell us all about it.
It's called The Tooth Fairies' Tummy Ache, and it is published by Mascot Books. And I was also lucky enough to work with my same illustrator, Vanessa Alexandri, who is amazing. And the book is a little lesson on honesty using the tooth fairy of all things. And so it's about a little girl who swallows her first tooth, which is, I hear, a very common problem nowadays. Mm-hmm. And obviously she can't put her tooth under her pillow, and she doesn't want to disappoint the tooth fairy. So she puts something else under her pillow. Without spoiling the whole thing, it's a kernel of popcorn, and all kinds of fun things start to happen in fairyland. And the whole mystery is, will the tooth fairy be able to deliver all of the money to the kids, or is this going to stop her night?
What an awesome premise. I love that idea. And, although it's not very honest, of course, it's very, very clever for your character to have thought of substituting, using the ear of corn to substitute for the tooth.
Absolutely. I just remember when I was a child, I didn't swallow my first tooth, but I lost it. And I was devastated. I just remember thinking about all the things that I could put under my pillow. And for some reason, a kernel of popcorn made a little bit of sense to me at the time.
So what was it? Was there an incident? I know you have 2 beautiful daughters. Did one of them lose a tooth or swallow a tooth that inspired you to write the book?
It's funny, my daughter, now that the book is coming out, it couldn't be better marketing for me that her teeth are starting to fall out. So it's like the perfect time. She just lost her 2 front teeth. But we're just starting to talk about the teeth falling out and the tooth fairy. My kids believe very hard in the tooth fairy. We don't celebrate Christmas. We're Jewish, so it's really, for us, the tooth fairy is a big thing that we believe in. Also, we don't, celebrate Easter. So as a child, I really was all obsessed with the tooth fairy, and I just absolutely loved it. So I just drew upon that imagination. I remember staying up as a kid all night waiting for the tooth fairy, and I would go in and out of sleep, but I would just imagine so hard what it was like up there. Mm-hmm. So I think I drew on my inspiration, when I was a child.
Wow. Talk a little bit about, because I hear, I'm not a huge fan of the Easter Bunny, because I don't get I've been told what the connection is with Easter, but I don't totally buy it. But I know there are a lot of people out there that say, oh, you shouldn't tell your kids about Santa Claus. You shouldn't quote unquote lie to your kids. And I guess technically, since there is no Santa, there's no tooth fairy, I guess it's lying. But I don't look at it that way. But my kids are grown. What do you think about? What would you say to somebody who's would say, you shouldn't be telling your kid about a tooth fairy?
Oh, for me, I think it's so fun for kids to believe in. I mean, it takes kind of a painful event. Like losing your teeth is not something that it hurts. My kids were, my daughter, it hurt her, but it takes a painful event and it makes it exciting. And we even got like a little tooth pillow with her name on it, and she does a whole routine. She writes a note to the tooth fairy. She says, draw a picture of yourself. Sometimes she specifies exactly what she wants for the tooth fairy, which is kind of weird. But it gives them something to look forward to, and it's just like, as a kid, when you're an adult, you know the truth, and so it takes away the fun and imaginative out of it. And so when you're a kid, I think you should believe as hard as you can in all those mythical creatures.
Yeah. It is, when you think about it, it is a traumatic time. We don't think about it as adults that, you lost a tooth, it's going to grow back. But as a kid, you're just kind of like learning and like this, what is this? It feels, someone touched this part of my elbow and it feels different, and so everything is new. So when things start falling out of, things fall out of me all the time, but and I know it's because I'm old, but it's different for kids, and it can be really, really traumatic.
I think so, and it's just so much fun to talk about with your kids, and it gets their imagination flowing too. Just these open-ended questions. Well, what do you think the tooth fairy wears? What do you think she does with all the teeth? And that's a big part of the story too, because I used to imagine when I was a kid what happened to all the teeth, and some of the things you'll see in the story, I used to imagine that, for example, the dentures for the grandmas and grandpas would come from the teeth. And so I did put a little of my imagination in there. And, for example, tooth fairies grind up the teeth and use flying dust, and that's how they're able to fly. So part of the big thing in this book is, if she doesn't have a real tooth to grind up, how is she going to fly to the other houses? And one thing that was fun that I did in this book as well is I made boy tooth fairies. You'll see boy tooth fairies in the book because I wanted to represent that the book is not traditionally when people think of a fairy or a tooth fairy, they might think of girls. And so it's a different day and age. It's 2019. And so I wanted to be, people can imagine that their tooth fairies are boys or girls.
Yeah. And by the way, it's 2020. Your book is out here in January. Well, actually, we're talking in 2019. But it's, I love that idea of including the guys and putting them in different roles. And I guess that's the way to kind of eliminate some of those gender stereotypes is to start teaching our young kids that everybody can do everything.
Yeah, and it's interesting. People say, don't judge a book by its cover, but so many people will pick up my books and will say, this is just for girls, or this might not be for boys. And so it's all about making sure you have different minorities represented, different genders represented. I mean, it's as we talked about, it's 2020. I mean, books are not just boy, girls, and boy books and girl books. I think that's definitely important.
Yeah. Speaking about that saying, people don't judge a book by its cover, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. The reality is everybody does. And in the book business, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, being an author is being in the book business. Would you agree with that? Yes.
I spent so long working with my publisher and what the cover was going to look like, and there's just, again, without giving too much of it away, there's just such one amazing illustration that shows some popcorn popping, and it shows the tooth fairy kind of like going crazy with the popcorn, and we knew right then that is the illustration that's going to make it to the cover, and it really, pun intended, pops.
That's yeah, and it's as a person who is in charge of Lori Orlinsky Inc. I know it's not an official company, but you're the CEO of your business, your writing business, your kidlit business, and it's important to think about that stuff. That you need to. You wrote this wonderful book, you created it, you invested your time, your soul, your money. And you want to share it with the world. You want to share this message with the world. And it's you just can't sit back and go, I'm an artiste, and the book is good, and people should buy it just because it's a great book.
Right. There's so much involved in, not only writing your book, proofing it, marketing it, and, any author nowadays is part illustrator, is part editor, is part marketer. I mean, we have to know everything about our books because we know what makes people tick.
And that's this goes for folks who are publishing independently, publishing, self-publishing, and even authors who are working with a traditional publisher. You still have to do most of the marketing yourself, and it's so important. Were there any resources that you were able to turn to that really helped you in your journey as an author and marketer?
I use Facebook a lot. There's a lot of book groups for authors, one such as Kidlit 411, and it's a great place to connect with other indie authors and other authors in general, specifically in the children's genre. It's great. You can ask advice on what awards to apply for, what trade shows to go to. So that was a big resource for me. Another thing is the SCBWI, the Society of Children's Books Authors and Illustrators. Mm-hmm. There's many chapters, and so that's also a great resource for authors.
Yeah. Now, what's it like? We're here at the Toy and Game Festival, and there's all these amazing toys, all these amazing inventions, and your book. What's been the reaction for folks here at the Toy and Game Fair about finding your books here?
People are really excited. I think, they come to see toys, but they get surprised when they find a book, a children's book, because people are able to justify some of the costs a little bit more. Toys, a lot of times, the nostalgia wears off within 5 minutes and they end up in a pile in the playroom, as evidenced in my playroom. But people like books, especially lesson-based books, for early readers. And my first book, Being Small Isn't So Bad After All, is also here. And one of the great things I've heard from folks is that they've checked my book out from the library. And that makes me feel so good because they're actually coming to me and giving me feedback, and they're more apt to learn about my new book because they now recognize me as an author.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the neat things about creating a series is, everybody knows about Dan Brown and his books, but he wrote 4 or 5 books before he had that big one that the whole world bought, and then everybody went out and rediscovered the old books.
Yeah, and I'm definitely thinking about, when people talk to me also about being small, they always have ideas. They're like, you should do being tall, you should do being shy, and so I kind of keep a mental list around. Definitely, again, pun intended, the book is not closed on that either. I might make that a series, and so I even see the Tooth Fairies tummy ache kind of opportunities to take the Tooth Fairy and put her in different situations. Mm-hmm. Where she can teach little lessons on things, because who are kids going to listen to other than the Tooth Fairy?
Yeah. Well, this is real exciting. Now, one of the things, we had your daughter Hayley on, and she was on our first Storytime episode, and read Being Small Isn't So Bad After All with me. She thought I was a better reader than you, Lori, but we won't bring that up. We won't bring that up. But anyways, what's it like for Hayley and your other daughter to know that their mom is an author and to see all these families reading your book?
They love it. They have such an appreciation for books, and we're a big book family. We read together every night. It's also taught Hayley to read at an earlier age than she would have. She loves to read. She's always got a book in her hand or a book in the car. And because the first book is about my experience with her, of course, I named the main girl in the second book Ellie. So Ellie is so excited that she's the girl in the book. It doesn't look anything like her, and I did that on purpose because my kids look alike, and I wanted the stories to look different. Mm-hmm. But she's very excited about it. And Hayley and I do assemblies at schools, and we talk to Girl Scouts, and both kids come with me, and they're really proud, and they both want to be authors, which I think is so cool. They'll probably change in the next 2 days, but for now they want to be authors, so I'm going to hold on to that.
That's really well. Talk to a little bit about the bond that you get as a mom reading with your kids, and how important that is.
Oh, it's amazing. We love rhyming books, especially because they teach kids to anticipate words, and they're great for early readers. So we do tons of rhyming books. Probably 90% of our books are rhyming. And then we do a lot of lesson-based books, because I think sometimes instead of just having a talk with your kids, let's say if they're lying and making it seem like they're in trouble, it's nice to read a book that has a hidden message about honesty. So we try and read books that have little hidden messages, and then talk about those books and say, well, let's talk about this character. What did she do that was wrong? What choices could she better make? So we also use books as a way to parent in our family.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is... I don't know if you've thought about this, but you just shared with us how important it is to read with your kids, and how it helps you grow closer with Hayley and Elle. Do you ever think about the fact that your books, that families are using your books to do the same thing with their kids?
It gives me goosebumps when people tell me how their families reacted to my books. It definitely gives me chills all over. It makes me feel great. And my initial book was written for Hayley, and it was written to make short kids feel better. And that book, I was hearing that you can sub out the word short and you can change skin color and sexuality. And so when parents tell me about their own experiences using the book as a precursor to talking about bullying, it's just unbelievable. And I'm excited to hear how the Tooth Fairies tummy ache touches kids in the same way.
That's really amazing. Well, remind everybody where we can connect with Lori Olinsky online and find out about your books.
So I have a website. It's LoriOrlinskyAuthor.com, and it's ORLINSKY. And my books are available on Amazon.
Excellent. And Lori's also spelled a little bit differently.
It's Lori.
Yes.
That's the only way to spell it.
There you go. All right. We've had such a great time speaking to the author of the brand new book, and I am looking at it right here, The Tooth Fairies Tummy Ache by our friend Lori Olinsky. Lori, thanks so much for being back on the show.
Thanks for having me. I hope to write another book next year and come back as well. We'll see if I have time.
We want to congratulate Lori Olinsky again for having her brand new book, The Tooth Fairies Tummy Ache, become our latest Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. Now sit back, relax, and listen as Lori's daughter Hayley and I read her first book, Being Small Isn't So Bad After All. We are very excited to be welcoming a very special guest to the show. Her name is Hayley Olinsky, and she is the star of Lori Olinsky's very first book, Being Small Isn't So Bad After All. Hey, Hayley, welcome to the show. Thanks for agreeing to read the story with me. I was wondering, how did it feel to have a book written all about you?
It felt amazing.
It felt amazing? Yeah. What happened in preschool that made your mom write the book?
Well, when they were redecorating the classroom, they put a glow chart up, and I noticed all my friends' names are at the top, and my name is all alone at the bottom.
Oh, man. And so that made you feel kind of alone, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I tell you a secret?
What?
In my family growth chart, I'm at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of names? I understand that some of the kids and the teachers had names for you.
They were they called me Shorty, Peanut, Little, other things like that.
Yeah. Now, do you think when they were calling you those names, do you think that they were trying to be mean to you?
I don't know, they weren't, but it hurt my feelings.
Yeah. And I think that's really important for us to understand, because I'm somebody who, I don't remember a lot of names, so there's a lot of times I'll say, hey, buddy, or when I used to coach soccer, I gave names to a lot of my players, and I meant to, when I gave them the names and nicknames, I wanted the nicknames to inspire them. But I didn't realize at the time that some of the nicknames, some of the kids didn't like them. And so even though that the kids in your classroom weren't meaning to hurt your feelings, they were hurting your feelings, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did your mom do when you told her that you felt upset that you were short?
She, like any other mom would do, she went on Amazon and looked for a book.
I love that. We didn't have Amazon when I was growing up, and I realized I was short.
She was so bummed out she couldn't find a book.
Uh-huh. So what did she do instead when she couldn't find a book?
She decided just to write one.
Wow. And so she wrote, Being Small Isn't So Bad After All. And like you said, that made you feel pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your mom told me that you're still short, but she calls you small and mighty. How do you feel about being short now?
I feel happy.
You do? Why do you feel happy about that?
because now I know all the things that I can do that tall people can't do. And, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know one of the things that I'm really proud of you about?
What?
Is that when you were feeling bad about being short, and when the kids were calling you names and it was hurting your feelings, you went home and you talked to your mom about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many kids who forget to do that, or maybe they're afraid to do that.
And my mom always makes me feel better.
Yeah, moms are pretty cool like that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now tell me, now that you're in first grade, and like I said, I thought you were going into high school. What's it like in first grade? Is first grade better, or are there still some kids that are bullying other kids?
It's better.
It's better. That's awesome. Now, what do you think? How do you show kindness to other kids?
Well, last year when I was in kindergarten, there was someone in my class. She didn't speak English, and I noticed she was all alone. And then one day I just decided to try and make friends with her. I started making cards for her. I started sitting with her at lunch. I started playing with her at recess. And now she loves school.
That is awesome. And are you guys still friends?
Yeah. And she's in my class this year.
That's excellent. Well, we have to say hi to your friend. What's your friend's name?
Sumia?
Sumia?
Yeah.
Hey, tell Sumia that Jedley in Boston said hi to her, okay?
I will.
Awesome. Hey, do you think it would be a good idea for me and you to read It's Not So Bad Being Small? Being small isn't so bad after all?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there are two parts. We talked a little bit about this before we started recording. There's two parts. There's the mom part, and there's the Hayley or the kid part. Which part do you think I should read?
You should read the mom part, and I'll read the kid part.
Okay. So should I read like a mom and try to sound like a mom?
Yeah.
Oh, real? Oh, no. I was hoping you'd say no. Okay.
No.
No. That's okay. That's okay. You're the boss here. So, do you have your book ready?
Yep.
Okay. So, I think you have the first part. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages and all shapes and sizes, right now, Hayley Olinsky and Jedley are going to read Being Small Isn't So Bad After All. I think you have the first page, right, Hayley?
Yes.
Okay, go for it, buddy.
My head is spinning, and my throat is red. I'm feeling funny. I'm staying in bed. My eyes are itchy, and my ears really ache. Going to school today would be a mistake.
You're
Next
cool
one.
to the touch. You don't look sick. Could this be some kind of trick? Because Mother knows best. That's how I know. Something's up, and you don't want to go. You're a wonderful child, so smart and strong. Come sit on my lap and tell me what's wrong.
Well, the yard kid at school, and this is how much we've grown. With my name at the bottom, I feel so alone. My friends can reach the cubbies like hooks, stools, and sinks. Why stand on a stool when I want to drink? My feet just dangle when I sit in my chair. I can only go in wide. There's a high pony in my hair. The shower for water comes up past my nose. My feet are always hurting today and my toes. It seems like sports are made for kids who are tall. I can't even get my hands on the ball. They call me Sorty, Peanut, Munchkin, and Sport. Looking up all the time makes my neck really hurt. I have to walk twice as fast as my friends. My pants are like tennis, the hole never ends. When it's time to form teams, I'm always last picked. That's why today I'm pretending to be sick. Don't you see that being small really is no fun at all?
Oh, honey, try not to feel blue. There's so much that small kids like you can do. When playing limbo, you can go really low. You give others a clear view when seeing a show. Your posture is perfect because you don't slouch. Your whole body can fit on the tiniest couch. You're the last one to get wet when it rains, and you have the most leg room when we fly on a plane. Your feet never touch the end of the bed. You can climb almost anywhere without bumping your head. You can squeeze through a fence to fetch a lost ball and have a shorter drop if you happen to fall. What about class photos? You're the first one they see. You don't have to duck under any branches on a tree. You can wiggle into the cart at the grocery store and squish into spaces you want to explore. I hope you don't feel upset by your height. You can do anything when you give it your might. You have so much to offer because of your size. Take it from me, your mom who is wise.
Oh, you're so right, the things that you say. I feel so much better when you put it that way. And I have to learn, play, and have fun too. I'll try all the things only I can do. I went to school and I'm happy to report. It turns out I like being short. I got to see once and for all that being small isn't really so bad after all. The end.
What a fantastic job. Hold on, I have to give you a round of applause.
You read better than my mom.
I read better than your mom. Well, she wrote better than me, so we're even, right?
Yeah.
Well, my friend, this was absolutely wonderful. I am so happy we had a chance. I think everybody listening today should go out and get their own copy of Being Small Isn't So Bad After All. It was written by Hayley's mom, Lori Orlinsky. You are awesome, Hayley. Thanks so much for being here. Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Cameron Wells. Cameron Wells will be here to celebrate her brand new books, What Color Is Your Day? And she's also going to be sharing the very first spoken word piece that she ever created back when she was in 6th grade. It's really, really amazing. That's the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Hey, you heard us let you know that Lori Olinsky's books, both Being Small Isn't So Bad After All, and her brand new book, The Tooth Fairies Tummy Ache, are both Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Reads. We have this great program that is really making a huge difference in the marketing of many children's books. It is the Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. We have assembled teachers, parents, kids, and if they believe that your book is worthy of 4 or 5 out of 5 stars, it becomes a certified great read. And with that status comes a whole lot of tools that can help your book stand out from the crowd of books that are published every single month. For more information, go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the Author Services button at the top of the page. We want to thank the folks who made today's show so very wonderful. Of course, we want to thank our buddy Lori Olinsky. Also want to thank her daughter, Hayley Olinsky. I want to thank my amazing producer, Fatima Khan, for all that she does. Be sure to check out her blog at readingwithyourkids.com. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. I want to thank Augie the Doggy for having my back here in the studio. And I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.